Hey everyone, I'm Gus Gonzalez, Microsoft MVP and Senior Solution Architect. I've been implementing Dynamics 365 since 2006, and I wanted to talk about some of the rules that I consider to be rules for solution architects. I'm putting this presentation together. I had this idea in mind. I've already created a presentation like this for CRM administrators where I talk about my top 10 rules for CRM administrators, and I decided to create one for solution architects. So it's a work in progress, but I wanted to share 3 rules with you, and these are non-technical, so these actually work for a CRM solution architect on any of the platforms. Really, this can be used. So once again, these are 3 rules for every solution architect and potentially even functional consultant. So rule number 1, answer every question with a question. And here's how that works. So the problem is, and this I've seen many times, I've done it myself, is that sometimes the customers will ask a question, and because we've been kind of conditioned to answer every question if we know the answer since we were kids, essentially, and because you're trying to earn that respect to show that you're, a great solution architect, you know what you're doing, you typically just answer right away. The problem with that is that sometimes you will box yourself into an answer that you can get out of, and you kind of wish you didn't answer that question to begin with. I'll give you an example. So typically, when customers ask a question, they're holding stuff back. They're not asking the real question. So this happened to me on one of my very first projects running solo as a solution architect. So at this point, I've done a bunch of projects as a functional consultant. I've even co-delivered projects as a solution architect, but I hadn't done a whole lot of implementations by myself as the sole solution architect in the project. So I was really excited. This was a company here in Atlanta. They do manufacturing, and I was really excited that I was gonna get to leverage a lot of the lessons learned and the things that I worked on essentially before on projects for similar companies. So I remember being there at the kickoff call, and we're sitting in a room, and one of the people in the team from the customer side asked me, "So Gus, how much experience do you have working with manufacturing companies?" So I immediately jumped on and I started talking about all my accomplishment and projects I had done, and how great it was, and I couldn't wait to use all of the dozens of tried and true lessons learned that I've gathered from multiple implementations working with manufacturing companies. I perhaps even used the name of a couple of recent projects I had participated on. And then I asked the customer, "So why is that? Why are you asking that question?" And the customer said, "Well, we were actually hoping that whoever we work with from the solution architect was someone who brought in new ideas. We want an innovative solution, something that no one else is using, because all of our competitors kind of use the same thing. So we were actually hoping for brand new ideas and not industry best practices." So obviously I felt like an idiot after I just answered that question, talking about how I couldn't wait to use the same stuff I had used in other projects in the past. So that is a good example of how not to answer the question right away and actually answer a question with a question, right? If the customer asked me that, "How much experience do you have working with companies like us and implementing Dynamics CRM with companies like us?" And I would have said something like, "Oh, geez, Tom, why do you want to know that?" And they say, "Well, we were thinking about, we really wanted someone who has, a new perspective and create a solution that is innovative," or whatever. I could have said, "Well, one of the advantages I have as an MVP is that I'm always on top of new technology, and we can work together with you and your company, and the way you guys sell to customers or acquire customers, deliver services, to come up with your own custom solution that no one else will have." Right? That was the right answer in that case. But instead, the project started, and I'm kind of already fighting an uphill battle because the customer might not really think that I'm the right fit for the project. So once again, rule number 1, answer every question with a question. Rule number 2, and this one is connected to rule number 1 in a way, and we were just talking about how you want to kind of make a really good impression as a solution architect or a functional consultant. You want to demonstrate that you have the knowledge. So rule number 2 is, do not answer an unasked question. And this one, again, happened to me in a project a bunch of years ago. I was in this project as a solution architect. We started the project, kickoff call happened. We've been probably a month or so into the project. I'm already doing customization work, customizing, the call entities, contacts, opportunities, leads, accounts. We're doing, kind of a sales implementation of Dynamics 365. And I don't know how the conversation came up with, how Microsoft Dynamics CRM was better because it integrated with Outlook and Office and all that stuff. That conversation comes up once in a while. And of course, here I am trying to impress people. So I say, yeah, and the best thing is that in Outlook, you can even go offline. I know some of you, whoever is using Dynamics, know that you should never make that suggestion, but I was dumb, so I made the suggestion, I said that, and it was kind of like, you can hear the needle like screeching on the record, like, stop, everybody stop. What did you just say? So then I repeated, it's like, you can go offline in Outlook. So the CEO chimes in and is like, what do you mean? Like, they can take our data in Outlook, and like, what happens if they lose their computer? And I said, well, no, we can, with permissions, we can turn it off, but we can't really stop them from installing it. As long as they're administrators, they can do it. Well, hold on, we need to get IT involved. And I said, because, just double idiocy, I said, well, IT could prevent them from being admins in their computer for work, but at home, they're admins, so they can actually install it at home and use it. Why did I do that, right? So now here we are getting involved with IT, trying to figure this out, trying to hack Outlook to hide the button that says go offline. It was just a complete mess. The whole project almost collapsed because of me answering an unasked question. No one asked me if the integration with Outlook supported offline mode or whatever it was. No one asked that question. It was just me, and the project was laid by like 2 months while they try to scramble and figure out, whether they could implement with the knowledge of the fact that someone could take their solution offline. And I mean, it was total chaos. So once again, never ever answer an honest question. And sorry, I moved away from the sun for rule number 3, but here it is. Rule number 3 is you don't have to like it, you just have to do it. And I'm talking about, those tasks within projects that we don't really like doing, right? Depending on the solution architect, you will find people that absolutely hate doing things like documentation or training or maybe CRM administration workshops, right? So they kind of skip it. We did a whole show on the CRM MVP podcast about beautifying dynamics, for example. A lot of solution architects or functional consultants just straight up skip the whole thing. But you don't have to like it, you just have to do it. You always want to start with the end goal in mind. And your end goal should be a successful implementation of Dynamics 365. So the way I think about all these tasks that I might not enjoy doing is that they're kind of a means to an end. The end being a successful project, a successful implementation of Dynamics 365. So for example, let's say you don't like doing workshops for the CRM administrators because they slow you down and it takes time, everything is super slow. It would be a lot easier if you just customize Dynamics without showing anybody. You already know how to do it, so you will just do it faster. Why bring somebody in just so they can learn how to do it? Well, you may not like that, but that can make a huge difference if the end goal is to have a fully functional solution that is adopted by the users and the company can trust. One of the main ways to do that is to have someone who can take ownership of that solution after you're done. After you implement it and went live, someone should be able to come and take ownership of it. So you may not like doing an administration workshop or creating documentation or recording training videos, whatever it is. There are always tasks that people don't like doing, cleaning up data, things like that. But if you think about it being a means to an end, think about it like if you're a firefighter, right? No one likes to put on 100 pounds of gear and run into a burning building. But if that's what you have to do in order to rescue someone, in order to save someone's life, then you just do it. It's a means to an end. That's kind of how we are. We're kind of like firemen when it comes to Dynamics 365. So yeah, there are things that we don't like doing, but because we get to save a project, because you get to add another successful Dynamics 365 or CRM implementation under your belt, see it as a means to an end and get it done. Rule number 3, you don't have to like it, you just have to do it. So there it is, guys. 3 rules for solution architects. Again, I have to put together the entire presentation coming to a conference near you. Maybe if people ask for it, we might record it as a episode for the podcast, for the CRM MVP podcast. But thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you learned some things in this presentation. Again, this is a work in progress. I'm working on it myself, but we'll see how it goes. Again, let me know if you enjoyed it. If you want more content like this, more lessons learned, best practices for solution architects, functional consultant, developers, whoever you guys want, I'm happy to record and share some of that knowledge with you. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.